Hi, welcome to the Fabulous Fit and Fantastic Holiday Show. Today I'm really excited. I've got two phenomenal guests with me. And I have a question for you before we meet my first guest. If you were given just one wish, what would it be? And if you were dying, would you actually change that wish? Today we're going to talk with Sharon Babineau, who's going to share a phenomenal story about her daughter, Madison, who actually gave away her wish. So it's going to be really touching and inspiring to hear the story of Madison Babineau. The second guest is Akua Hines, and we're excited to share with you how to find love in the holiday, and if you already have love in the holidays, how you can make your relationship more passionate and more exciting. So today we're going to get started. I'd like to welcome Sharon to the show. Welcome to the Fabulous Fit and Fantastic Show.
Thank you, Wendy.
I know that today we're going to celebrate the life of your daughter, Madison Babineau, and we're going to call her Maddie, if that's okay.
Yes.
And she passed away. It'll be 5 years this May.
Yeah.
And she's got a great story, and it's very touching. And as I've watched the videos of her, I've shed a tear, and I watched yours, and through our conversations, I found it really touching that I brought you on the show because I believe that the world needs to hear your story about her life. So share a little bit. Maddie, unfortunately and fortunately, got cancer. She passed away, and the Children's Wish Foundation came to her and gave her her last wish. Share with everybody what she did with this last wish, because that has created a huge legacy for her. And it leads into so many things that we're going to talk about. But share, what was her last wish?
Okay. So Maddie was diagnosed at the age of 12. And it was about a year later that she was given this wish from the Children's Wish Foundation. Just like any young teen, you know, she made this big list of the wonderful possibilities. Being, you know, meeting a movie star. They told her that she could have a $5,000 shopping spree.
A trip to Disney.
All kinds of really neat things. So of course she, you know, really looked at what she wanted to do with that. Had a lot of fun. Maddie had lost her dad when she was young, and you know, been raised by a single mom. So money was always tight. So it was quite a big event for her at a time when she was so sick and living in the hospital. But it was at that same time that she was just lying in bed one day and became aware of the plight of the young children in Africa. And she saw a little boy walking down the street, and he was orphaned, had no place to live, no school, and it just touched her. And it touched her so much she knew that she wanted to do something, but she didn't know how or what. So when this wish came along, she decided to give it away. She used it to build a school in Africa, changed their lives.
And how did she do that? I think I read a little bit in her story that she started to make jewelry while she was in her hospital bed, and she started a huge, massive fundraiser. So share a little bit about that. How did she do that from her bed? That's crazy.
It seems a little crazy. It really does. She used her wish the first time to build the school. So an agreement was made with Free the Children, who were the ones that actually built the school, and the Children's Wish Foundation. So with the two of them, my daughter exchanged her wish for this school, and that was wonderful. And actually my daughter did not tell anyone about it at all. She's very shy, and it was just something she wanted to do and hoped to get on with her life. And it was when the cancer came back the second time, she realized that you know, she wasn't going to beat her cancer. And at the same time, she found out the young girls couldn't attend school because they had to haul water, so she was frustrated. I mean, she gives away a wish, and then the young girls still couldn't attend school.
So they actually built the school. Where was it built?
They built the school.
Where was it?
It's in Matoni. It's in the Masai Mara in Kenya.
Okay. So they built a school. So she gave away her dying wish. They built a school, and then the kids couldn't go to it.
They couldn't go. So she was frustrated with women, you know, the young girls. So
they had to carry water, and I know you have a great story. When you went to Africa, you actually participated in this, but we're going to cover that in a minute. But so the kids, the girls specifically, had to carry the water back and forth, so they couldn't go to the school. They would miss
school. My daughter was frustrated. It was the only wish that she had,
so
and
what did she do?
So she started to sell jewelry out of her hospital bed. And it was really it was really a neat thing to see, because all the surgeons and doctors and nurses are walking around. She didn't actually make them. She bought them on eBay. Late at night, she would be doing bidding wars with people. And I gave her her slush money to use and bought lots of jewelry, and then set up all the wall of her hospital room was covered with pieces of jewelry, and people would pick them out.
Wow.
And 100% of the money went to raising money. She was determined that we would be able to build a well.
So she raised like $10,000, I think I saw. She was making a huge difference, and they actually dug and created this well.
Yes, they have.
So now today the school stands, and all the kids are actually able to go to it.
Yes.
So tell us about, I wrote down here, a TV show called No Opportunity Wasted, and the Free the Children organization. There was like 6,000 people that were part of this contest. Share with what happened with that. That is just, that blew me away when I actually read that and heard your whole story. So just share what happened with that.
Yeah, that's a great story.
It is.
What happened was, Phil Kogan from The Amazing Race, this is his show. It's called No Opportunity Wasted. And he was looking for an inspirational story. During that time, my daughter was still alive. And my dream was to take her to Africa, to get her to meet these beautiful children. And in my heart, I was hoping that she would be cured.
Yeah.
And this would be a wonderful ending.
Yeah.
The day of the audition, my daughter took a turn for the worse, and I ended up not going. She passed away 2 days later. So even the idea of this trip or anything, like everything was gone. My world, if you can imagine, you know, I was a widow. I'd already lost my husband. To lose a child, the grief was unbearable.
Yeah.
But I believe,
so adorable.
And I think my daughter's story needed to be told, because the producer of the show happened to be in Hamilton the day of her funeral, and her story was in all the newspapers. So they found me.
And they showed up at your doorstep.
And they showed up. They hijacked me.
You get a knock on your door.
I got a knock on my door.
Open the door and tell them what you saw.
I saw a camera crew waiting and say, "We have a plane on a tarmac in Toronto, and we're taking you to Africa, and you're going to see your daughter's school." And it was amazing.
And you have like 15 minutes to pack?
I had 15 minutes to pack because my family was in on it.
Oh, they were?
They were,
oh, I didn't
yes.
know
Everybody
that.
knew about it except me.
Okay, all right.
And my son, because my son came too. It was very important that we continue Maddie's legacy together as a family.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened when you went there?
It was incredible. The children, I really got to understand what it was my daughter felt and fell in love with. They were absolutely beautiful. And they never had like a hand out. It was like a hand up. You know, they would just slip their hand into yours, and they were so happy. And I felt closer to my daughter while I was there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What would you say, Sharon, Maddie has been able to teach you since she's passed, especially? What have you learned?
Definitely that I would say we all need to leave a legacy to understand that one person can make a difference. And before she passed away, she asked me to promise her I would be happy after she was gone. And if you could imagine, that was like a burden. You know, that idea was, there was no way I could do that, but I slowly, through my healing, realized that was a beautiful gift. And that was a challenge for me to get out there, be a better mom to my son. And really, I really realized one thing, that happiness is a choice. And when I started working on her legacy and raising funds in her memory, it just made life much more meaningful for me, much more fulfilling.
Well, I know even as we talk, I know it must be difficult to share a lot. And I know you teach and you go to different schools and you're teaching her, you're teaching people how to leave a legacy. But what would you like people to know the most about Maddie?
I think what I would like people to know most about Maddie was, here is this child who was so painfully shy, but she found her voice speaking up for others. And I think we need to take a cue from that. I think we need to do that too.
Yeah. It takes a huge heart, because I can only imagine her being, you know, in the hospital and know that she was dying, and so many children would take that wish, and it's not good or bad, but
no, not
she
at all.
realized, I'd like to give that away because she knew that she was going to pass away and that she wanted to make a difference. And that for me is just, I'm just so touched with that, because for a young girl especially, you know, well, want to go shopping, we'd love to meet our movie star and all that stuff. So what's happening with that whole foundation and everything now in Africa? I know that you're going to be going back there. Just share a little bit about what's happening now.
Well, what's so extraordinary is that here's a wish that was valued at $5,000, has become almost a $200,000 legacy. And Maddie didn't do it all by herself. You know, I mean, the community, when she finally allowed her story to be told, they started doing mustache growing contests and all kinds of fundraising. And the one school, you know, a couple of schools actually raised $10,000 on their own. I found that they were very inspired. And on her grad day, her class did, in total, 800 random acts of kindness. We called it Get Mad Before Grad, make a difference before graduating.
I think there's a YouTube on that. I think I saw a whole bunch of students from her school talking about it. Yeah, I did see that. And you also shared with me that in Africa there are pictures that hang in all of the school classes of Maddie. Just share a little bit about that.
Well, as I went over there with the camera crew, and it was very recent, it was only 2 months after she had passed away, what they had me do actually was walk in the footsteps of a mama, so I really got to understand the value of her wish. So we're walking, hauling water, cutting brush and cooking, and it took like 6 hours to cook. And the last day was the first day of school that I was there, and they had a beautiful plaque on the wall of her school, and that made me cry when I saw that. But my message to the children over there was, you know, there are people halfway around the world that care, you know, and you're not forgotten. And I wanted it to be empowering for them, not so much the sadness of my daughter passing away, but for them to know that other people really care.
That they really care. And you're on a journey to get back there. So what's your plans?
I'm hoping to go back either in February or March, because it's going to be 5 years, which I just cannot believe. And we've built a medical center also. And one of my daughter's dreams was to be a mother. And it was one of the few times that I actually saw her break down and start crying when she was told during her treatment that she would probably never be a mom. So for her 5th anniversary, we're going to be working really hard, and we need help this year to raise $50,000 for a maternity ward.
Oh, that's awesome. So where can people find out about this, and how can they donate, and what's the website they can find the information out at?
So our website is maddieswishproject.com. Or you can also go to mindbreak.ca. And we're hoping, you know, $50,000 of money here is saving hundreds of thousands of lives over there. Beautiful.
And what would be a way people could connect with you? Email, Facebook, what's the best way?
Email.
Email? What's your email?
So my email is sharon@mindbreak.ca.
Okay. Now I know that we've got a CD here. Just share a little bit. It's called The Girl Who Gave Her Wish Away. Tell me what this is about. So
this is Maddie's story that I just take with me when I go speak in schools. I've talked to probably over 20,000 students, inspiring them to see a peer who's made a difference, and let them know that they can too. So some of her friends actually put this together and presented it to me at her funeral. So, and it's so beautiful that I always take that with me.
And I noticed that you're wearing around your neck, you have a picture of your daughter, but you've also got, what does it say? Wish?
Wish.
Can you buy those? Do you sell those through your website?
I don't.
Well, you should. I would actually buy that, the little wish. So if you wanted to just share before we go, Sharon, you know, what do you want the world to know as Sharon's words of inspiration? Because so much has happened in your life. Your husband passed away, your daughter's passed away, and you're on a huge mission to teach people how to share a legacy. But what would your words be?
The best advice I can give is realizing that happiness really is a choice. And when you focus on gratitude and what you have and not on what you've lost, your life would be so much more happier and meaningful. and to realize, regardless of what age you are, that you can make a difference. One single person can save thousands of lives. And it doesn't have to be a big thing.
And your daughter's a great example of that.
Yes, she is.
So we celebrate the life today of Madison Babineau, Maddie, and we encourage people to join your vision, yes. mindbreak.ca, and maddieswishproject.com. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your story when you get to go back to the school and build the maternity ward and actually give your daughter another wish and change a whole bunch of people's lives. So thank you so much, Sharon, for joining me today and sharing the story of your awesome daughter. So we'll be back. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to have a Kua Hines and we're going to teach you how you can find love over the holidays. Back in a minute.